So GreenSpace Brands went public in May of 2015, and basically from that time till now we've acquired 5 different companies. We've launched, just prior to going public, we'd launched some companies as well. So we have 10 total brands, and I think the biggest milestone is probably our most recent acquisition, which is a plant-based dairy company, so a alternative cheese, fake cheese company that is in the US. So it's our first US acquisition. It gives us a US platform. It gives us a vertical we love, that plant-based cheese vertical. And it gives us another brand to sell into Canada on our well-established platform in Canada. So we've had a lot of different, a lot of change over the last few years, but that Go Veggie acquisition is probably certainly the most recent and quite a relevant one. Yeah, the Meatbar product is an interesting one. It's another internal launch. So we have been acquiring over the last 3 years, we've been acquiring a lot of brands, but prior to that acquisition spree, we'd launched a lot of brands. And so this is bringing us back to our roots a little bit, launching a brand from scratch where we couldn't find anything in the market that we thought was something we wanted to acquire in that clean meat snacking space, which is a ever-growing kind of area to play in. And so Meatbar was our internal launch of that into that category, and it's basically, it's different than jerky. It's more like the texture of a bar, like a power bar or a Cliff Bar or whatever it might be, but it's all protein, it's all meat. You might have some nuts and seeds in it, and it will get us into that gas and convenience channel, which is a channel that we have been trying to break into and wanting to break into for a long time. So it's relevant to our core grocery channel, like the Loblaws, Sobeys, Metros of the world, but it's also relevant to our natural food channel, which is very strong in our company. But it brings us into this gas and convenience world and food service world, which we haven't been into for a long time. So we're pretty hopeful that that new market will, this product in that new market will allow us to perhaps bring some of our other products in our portfolio into that channel as well. So we have a lot of growth opportunities ahead of us. The Go Veggie acquisition gave us a US platform, so you will see us grow into the US now, utilizing this platform that came with the Go Veggie acquisition. So all of these salespeople who know everybody in the US market already. So you might see us launch Love Child or Central Roast or Kiju or Cedar or any one or number of our larger brands into the US, and that has a huge opportunity for growth. We're getting into other categories as well. So we launched Meatbar recently. You'll see us launch more internal brands. We have some really interesting innovation that we think will be a great growth driver for us. You'll likely see us do some deals in other markets, for instance. We announced one in Hong Kong for our Kiju brand. You might see us do other JVs and partnerships to get into other markets, and then you might see some JVs and partnerships as well, just in areas we want to get into. So in verticals we want to enter, whether that be plant-based meat, or supplements, or clean snacking, or a handful of other kind of main verticals we want to get into. You probably won't see many acquisitions from us anytime soon, but you'll probably see some JVs and some internal brand launches that will really help us grow. So high growth companies always have challenges, and because we grow so fast organically, we had 34% organic growth last year, so you're going to have challenges, and I think a lot of the challenges are around growth and making sure we have all the right people. We've gone from 4 million to 100 million, and we're going from 100 to 500 million over time, we hope. And so we're going to need great people to keep growing, and we have an incredible team now, and we need to keep adding to that team, and so finding the right people is always key. And the biggest thing is truly integrating some of the acquisitions we've done, and making sure that our team has bandwidth to do more innovative things. And so we bought this US acquisition, Go Veggie, and we now have to integrate them, and we have to get them to be part of our culture and our team, and that's an ongoing process and challenge, but it's working very well, and you know, it's just been a few months now, but you'll likely see great things out of that brand coming soon. The biggest thing that makes GreenSpace different is that we straddle the fence between big CPG and authentic entrepreneur. And basically what that means is a lot of authentic entrepreneurs don't have capital and don't have the right people to get their products listed in all the big grocery stores or whatever channels they're looking for. And so they can get a small base of business through the natural health channel or whatever it might be, but they tend to not be able to get to scale. And the big CPGs don't have the authenticity of the entrepreneurs, so they can't really launch brands or create brands anymore that are really authentic for that consumer. Whereas we straddle that fence, we have the ability from a balance sheet perspective to work with the big retailers. We have the people who know how to work with those big retailers, yet we have the authenticity and believability in our company that we will only do organic and natural, and we won't cut corners, and consumers come first. And so it allows us to sort of straddle that fence, and what that means is distribution. We get tens of thousands of new listings and new facings at retail partners every quarter, and that's something that most big CPGs would kill for. So our investment proposition is relatively simple. We are a natural food business, publicly traded natural food business, where there's not a lot of inventory or not a lot of other companies that are similar to us. Most of them have been purchased already by the big CPGs, so there's a very aggressive mergers and acquisitions part of our business that's happening mostly with private companies, big CPG companies buying private companies. But all of the publicly traded companies that have been in our world are largely gone now. It's GreenSpace and it's Hain Celestial in the US, and everybody else has been purchased. So I think from an investment standpoint, investors could look at us as a really interesting high growth story with a very solid base of business with big retailers and the most innovative company in the industry. So hopefully you'll see from us a lot more growth, organic growth, as well as interesting joint ventures, as well as interesting product launches, internal product launches. So a great growth profile in a really stable industry that has a lot of potential M&A activity down the road. The venture listing gives us credibility. More than anything else, it's great access to capital. We have a lot more shareholders who can participate in deals and have for the last 3 years that we've been public on the venture. And the credibility of being a public business on the TSXV is something that allows us to do more deals with co-packers and have more credibility with retailers, and it just gives us that kind of brand standard as a holding company that a lot of our brands underneath the holding company already enjoy.